it's Friday Sews and welcome to my channel. Hi everyone, welcome to Friday Sews and welcome to Sewing Seams with Deb. Thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, who started the Friday Sews hashtag, and about what we've been sewing, what our plans are, and a little bit about life. And for me, this week, I haven't done a lot of sewing. I'm still doing more preparing and more cutting out. And so I know we've just had a long weekend, and I had great plans. I had awesome plans to get a lot of sewing done, and as per usual, I got a little bit stuck with my indecision. So there's too many things to choose from. I got so many patterns, and then I might choose a pattern and then I don't quite have enough fabric to make that pattern. A bit annoying and a bit frustrating. And then I think, well, I like that fabric there, so what pattern can I choose to make something out of that fabric? So as a further knock-on effect from Me Made May, my decision has been to do a destash, first of all, and to get things out of my sight, if you like, out of the cupboard, from fabrics and patterns that actually no longer serve me. So I don't see that I'll ever use those fabrics, and there's nothing wrong with the fabrics, gotta say. They're amazing fabrics, always were when I bought them, and that's why I brought them. However, they're not necessarily my colour. They're not necessarily the right amount of fabric for what I want to make, or the type of fabric. So I found that I had some nylon type fabrics, for example. Nothing wrong with nylon fabrics. My personal approach to that is my body doesn't like it. This stage of life, it gets too clammy and not comfortable. So I am turned over a new leaf, and I'm planning to use more natural fibres. So the linens, the cottons, the silks, the wool. And when I'm using mixes, I'm going to try and have more of the natural fibres as a mix. So that's my plan. So that's my intention. So forthwith, when I go purchasing something, that's what I have in the back of my mind. 1. 2, buy more. And what I mean by that is, if I'm going to buy some fabric because I love it, I love the colour, I love the design on it, I need to really take my time and visualise what that colour will be like on me, or even hold it up against me if I'm in the store. If I'm online, that could be a bit trickier. So see if I can look on Instagram, perhaps, where someone else has used that design on themselves. So I've got a few strategies. So again, a lot of reflection been going on around what works for me and what isn't working. So so that's a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot of processing and a lot of thinking things through and analysing and checking my wardrobe and things like that. So I feel like I've moved along a bit and I've really got somewhere with it, but I don't have any garments to prove it. I don't have any finished product. I've just got a lot of organising that's happened. Does that make sense? I'm wearing this beautiful jumper that I knitted, and the yarn was from Bengigo Woollen Mills, and it was the recommended yarn of Classic, and it's in this beautiful mauve colour, and as it turns out, the pattern itself is in the mauve. So this jumper I'm wearing literally turned out the same as this pattern. How good is it? And in the past, I've often made patterns, knitting or garments, jumpers, a bit longer than the recommendation, but I decided to stick with the recommended length, and I'm very happy with it. So I'll just see if I can show you. So when I say I'm happy with it, I'm happy with the length, and show you the length, because the length, I've got my denim skirt on. So this is the length, and I'm very happy with it because it just, that's my waist there, and it's just a little bit below the waist, enough to keep my lower back warm. And this wool, or this yarn, is absolutely beautiful, and the pattern itself turned out really lovely. Look, I wasn't always, I didn't think that I would necessarily go for a purple jumper, but when I got thinking about it, I had this purple jumper when I was growing up. My mum knitted it for me and I loved it, so I've sort of tried to duplicate that and to try and make it something that's a little bit versatile. So I do wear pink a lot, and so purple goes with pink, so that's, well, in my opinion, and purple goes with red, and as you know, it's one of my most wearable colours is the red. So, and of course with pale colours and even with blue. So I'm very happy with this. It's about 3 years since I made it. I'm pretty sure I made it in 2020. Yeah, great success. And I made size 85 to 90. So if you can see the sizing there. So again, in the past, I've often made a size bigger, thinking that I don't want it too snug. But once again, I'm very happy with this sizing. And I'll give you a little tip, well, a secret really. Well, is it? You tell me. I actually visited Bendigo in the eastern states in Victoria, well, a while back. I think it was 2019. And I went there and had a decent look around, and they've got a lot of their garments or their patterns made up into a garment, and they've got the size written on it, and you can try it on. What a great idea. So I can actually try on to see what that size looks like on your body, and should you knit that size or the next size up. So that's when I realised that my size in their patterns is 85 to 90, and I am really pleased about that. So I'm really happy with it, and so it was worth the trip, because Bendigo's, is it about an hour and a half away from, in Australia, we always talk about how long it takes to get to a place. We don't always talk in kilometres. We talk about how long it takes to drive there. So it's about an hour and a half from Melbourne metropolitan area. So I don't know how many kilometres that is. I don't know, 100? Maybe 110? Anyway, so I love Bendigo wool, and I love Bendigo Woollen Mills. So big fan, and it's all Australian wool. And so this one's got merino in it, and it's just a pure classic. And I love the colour. So that's a big winner for me. So the other thing I'm wearing is my long denim skirt. Now, let me see if I can show you that as well. I don't have a step here. Anyway, one moment, please. Sorry, you can't really see it, but I've made a change. Can you see I've got paler pockets on here? So I didn't swap the pockets. I'll just take have to take a photo and put it in. I didn't swap the pockets. What I did was I've double pocketed, and I didn't think there was enough of a pop of interest in the back part of the skirt. So that's why I thought I'll put a lighter colour pocket, both of those back pockets, and then I'll put a patch on the front and a slight change in the other side. So I'm very pleased with it, and I've got to say I'm wearing it quite a few times. Now that it's colder, I'm finding that with really furry stockings underneath, really furry tight stockings underneath, it adds that whole layer that is so warming. I'm just so surprised how warm I am in this skirt. Big winner. I'm keeping it. So that's awesome. I'm really pleased about that because you know how much it did take an effort and it took a lot of headspace. And so I feel like I bonded to it. Awesome, hey? Well, that's it for today. Short and sweet. Thank you for joining me, and thanks for being patient with all my waffle. It was lovely to catch up with you, and I really hope you've had a great week of sewing. And I hope you got more done than I did in the range of actually getting your machine out. So hopefully next week I'll have a bit more to report. And until then, take good care, stay well, and happy sewing. Bye.